Ariel Garrity made an extraordinary journey her senior year of high school. While most seniors spend their final semester partying or slacking off, Ariel was completing a personal crusade. Her story begins her freshman year. Here, Ariel shares with us the story of how a little girl from Kentucky traveled all the way to Cambodia.
And we read an article about a girl who was drugged and forced into sex trafficking, and about an organization called American Assistance for Cambodia, where if you raised $19,000, they would match that, and they would sponsor the building of a school in Cambodia. So a few of my friends got together, and we were like, we have to do this. So we went to our teacher, and we formed a Global Issues Club, and we spent the next 3.5 years raising money to build the school, and we ended up raising about $22,000, and we completed the school. And then we got the idea, kind of crazy, that we wanted to go see the school. So we worked on a plan for about 6 months, and then we pitched it to the administration, and we got their approval.
Ariel faced opposition and overcame obstacles to making her dream become a reality.
Yeah, it was a lot of work, and it took a lot of hard work because the school wasn't exactly supportive of us going, but it was really great because they let us incorporate it into our mission week, which we have at Assumption, which is the seniors get a week off to take a mission trip, and the trips are usually in Kentucky, but we got them to allow us to use our trip to Cambodia as the mission week, so we didn't have to miss school or anything. We were there for 10 days, and the first 2 days we spent at the school, and we had no idea how big the school was going to be. We thought maybe 30 kids, and we got off the bus, and it turned out to be, they had an opening ceremony for us, and it turned out to be about 300 kids between the ages of around 6th to 8th grade. So that was just an amazing surprise to see how many children were actually being able to attend the school. And so we got to spend the 2 days with them, playing games with them, teach them English, handing out school supplies. We also gave them playground equipment, so we got to play some games with them. We played soccer with them one day, which was a really neat experience.
Ariel said she was surprised at how different the climate and her surroundings were compared to what she was used to, and shared with me some of the differences.
When we went to Cambodia, it was freezing in Kentucky. We left with snow on the ground, and when we got to Cambodia, it was extremely hot. It was in the middle of the dry season. They have a dry season and a monsoon season, and so we went in the middle of the dry season, and it was extremely hot and humid, probably mid-90s the entire time we were there. So it was a really big adjustment leaving the U.S. where it was below zero with snow on the ground, and adjusting to the Cambodian climate. We were lucky our bus had air conditioning, but everywhere else you went, there's no doors or windows or anything, and there is no air conditioning, so that was a lot to get adjusted to.
Ariel spoke fondly of her memories of the trip, and her favorite part was getting in on the action.
My favorite part was definitely getting to know the children, because when we were raising money for the school, it was hard to make the connection between the actual kids that went there. So it was just really neat to get to put faces on the kids that we'd been raising money for and really get to know them as actual people and form connections with them, and getting to play around with them a little bit and have some fun. That was really neat.
So what's going on in this picture?
Well, this picture was taken on my last day at the school. We just finished eating lunch, and we got back on the bus, and we were getting ready to leave the school for the last time, and we were waiting for our bus driver. I don't know what he was doing, but we were waiting for him, and all these kids had gathered around our bus because they were supposed to have gone home at this point, but they wouldn't leave. So there's probably about 50 kids outside the bus, and so we're waiting, we're waving to them, and this little boy in the white shirt here came up to the bus and starts like drawing in the dust in the bus, and everybody, all my friends were all like crowded around, and we were like, what is he doing, what is he doing? We backed up, and he'd drawn a heart in the window in the dust, and he stepped back, and they all started making heart shapes with their hands, and the bus driver got back on the bus, and he started driving away, and they all chased us, and we're making heart signs with their hands, and we were making heart signs back, and we were all crying, and it was just a really emotional moment because that's probably the last time that we'll ever see them, but it was kind of like the final acknowledgement that we really did make a difference in their lives.
That's so cute. What about this girl? She looks adorable. She looks really young.
Yeah, this girl's probably about 4 years old, and I met her. We were going to an extremely old temple, and we had to climb up about, I think it was 2,000 stairs to get to the top. And what the kids do is they will walk the stairs with you, and they'll fan you, and they'll ask for $1 at the end to give them money. So she had been helping one of my friends, and my friend was like, give me $1, give me $1, I don't have any money. So I slipped a 10 in her hand, and she thought it was $1. And when she realized that it was a 10, she came running back and was like, thank you, thank you. And so I took that picture of her after that.
$10 really helps them out, doesn't it?
Yeah, $10 is probably about the cost of school for a year for them. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And you guys came and you built that school for them.
Yeah.
That must have changed their lives.
Yeah.
What about these kids? Is that the same boy?
Yes, this is the same group of kids. These kids, the ones that aren't in the uniforms, are too young to go to the school, but they were just in the village, and they would hang around the school during the day while we were there just to kind of see what was going on. But these are it was kind of sad because the rest of the kids were home for lunch at this point. So these are basically the kids who didn't have anywhere to go home for lunch. And they would wait around the 2 days that we were there while we ate lunch. And we didn't really like the food that we had for our lunch because it was like rice and fish and things like that. So we would give them the rest of our lunches, and they would fight over it. And so that was kind of sad.
I asked Ariel if she would ever consider traveling back to Cambodia, or if she wanted to concentrate her efforts back home.
I definitely want to go back. I've thought about going back, and we met a priest from the United States who's actually from Kentucky who works with deaf children there, and I've thought a bit about going back and staying with him and teaching at the school. But we were down there. We also visited an art school that children can go to and learn the arts. So I've also considered going back for a summer and volunteering at the art school.
You mentioned you wanted to start a Global Issues Club. Tell me about what you want to do.
Well, since in high school we really focused on Cambodia, I kind of wanted to come to High Point because there is not a club here that is like the club that we had at Assumption. So I really wanted to come here and start a Global Issues Club because I know there's people who are interested in helping global causes, and I really wanted to put out a poll and see what the majority of the students are interested in, and then go from there, because I've also wanted to work with invisible children, maybe raising money for that. It would be nice to continue supporting the school that we've built financially, and I probably will continue to do that, but with the club here, I'd kind of like to open it to the school and see really where they would like to go with it and start working towards that cause. And then as the club were to grow over the next 4 years, I'd like it to have different sects, which is how we had it at my school, where we had a Cambodia sect, a Darfur sect, and then once a month or so we would have one large group meeting with the entire Global Issues Club.
Ariel's aspirations are high and her heart is in the right place. She is currently trying to go about forming a Global Issues Club here at High Point University, but even with the absence of a club setting, Ariel personifies selflessness and dedication to helping others.